terrorism. It's looked and smelled like terrorism for more than 24 hours, I think, to most people. Is that how you've been seeing it?
I think that's right. Although I have to tell you, when this event initially happened, and remember, I've been doing this for a very, very long time now. I mean, well over a decade. So I've been through this, sadly, so many times. Fort Hood and Sandy Hook, and every time there's something, there's a question: is it terrorism? Is it not terrorism? Do we have the facts? Do we not have the facts? When the initial reports came in, I said, boy, this just doesn't sound right. And this is, in fact, a kind of terrorist attack which we actually haven't seen before in the United States. This is something almost like a plot line out of 24. So I think at this point there's very little question that this was a terrorist attack. This actually may have been some kind of bizarre hybrid where he just got upset and they went after these people, but then they were actually going to go do another attack, which actually may have been their primary target. I guess we're still waiting to hear about that. But this is an unusual attack.
Does that seem likely to you, though? I mean, let's walk it through.
Yeah.
So you've been planning a terrorist attack for a very long time. We know that because of the bombs that they built,
right.
And this is not something that it took a week or two to plan. So you've been
right.
planning it a very long time,
right.
And you're intent on making a statement. Do you let yourself get diverted by being mad at somebody at work, or do you think maybe that was just the target all along? He said, "Look, there's going to be a Christmas party. We do it every year. There's going to be 100 people in this hall. It's easy to get into. We can make that our first target."
But here's the downside. I mean, that's a soft target, but there's lots of other soft targets which would actually be much more higher profile. And the other thing is if you were going to do that, typically what we have seen, and again, is the people stay at the scene and they fight until the end to kill as many people as possible. So this notion of doing a shooting and then disengaging and then going someplace else, that's unusual, right? So it might be. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait for the evidence. I mean, but clearly this.
Well, I think it does speak to they weren't done for sure because they had an exit plan, right? They clearly wanted to get out of there, and maybe they thought they could just get away with it and lie low, but that's pretty unlikely, right? Yeah. Because people did recognize them. So maybe this was, they were going to have a long day of terror, and that's one of the things they wanted to attack. Maybe they wanted to go back and attack first responders. Who knows exactly?
Of course, that's what happened in Mumbai. And again, Mumbai was interesting because you saw both. You saw some teams, and this is the terrorist attack that happened a number of years ago in India, where a group of armed groups came ashore simultaneously, and they struck out for different targets. Some of them hunkered down and fought in place, and fought to the end, took hostages, and died. Other teams actually tried to move from place to place to just kind of spread the mayhem. So, we'll have to wait and see. But the fact that you have this individual who is, clearly has transnational terrorist links, clearly is linking up with somebody, putting together, I mean, not the most sophisticated operation in the world, but clearly very thoughtful, which requires some training, some technical expertise, good and some kind of financial support, right? Obviously, they didn't do this on the guy's salary. I mean, this is something that we haven't seen. So when some people say, well, this is a game changer, well, here's where I would just put a little caution. They're all game changers. One of the things we do is we have a database of terrorist plots aimed at the United States since 9/11, 75 Islamist-related plots, counting this one. And what we've seen is a little bit of everything. So, when you see something